RPOs have been a headache to deal with in Madden the last several years. Well, today I'm going to show you guys how you can turn your RPOs into making them even more overpowered and toxic than what they already were.
Oh, you stink!
You're welcome, and I am also sorry. So in Madden 26, EA has afforded us the opportunity on certain RPO plays to be able to hot route wide receivers. This depends on how many wide receivers are technically going out on routes on these RPO plays. The rule of thumb is if there is only one receiver going out on a route, you cannot hot route that player. You have to have at least two wide receivers that are going out on routes to be able to hot route them to whatever you would like. Prime example is going to be out of the Gun Bunch X Nasty. We are in the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive playbook, one of the best in the game. And we take a look here at the motion RPO zone alert. As you guys can see, this play has 3 wide receivers that can go out on routes, which means we are able to hot route all 3 receivers. Now I'm going to scroll over here to the ever so popular trips tight end RPO alert bubble play. Unfortunately, since this play only has 1 wide receiver going on a route, which is the bubble screen, we are not able to hot route this player. Now, something that has been really tempting me over the last several weeks to switch from the Jacksonville Jaguars playbook over to the New York Jets playbook is because the New York Jets in their bunch tight end formation has the RPO alert bubble play. Whereas in the Jacksonville Jaguars, there is no RPO alert bubble play here, unfortunately. A rule of thumb with this is if you break the huddle in a certain formation and then you audible to another, so for example, let's say bunch X Nasty to bunch tight end, you are able and afforded the ability to hot route that bubble screen defender. Unfortunately, here in Jaguars, we cannot. Also, if we come out in bunch X Nasty here in Jags and audible to trips tight end, we can't hot route the bubble screen. I tried to work around it. It does not work. But Jaguars has the ever so popular Y-Off trio close, and I will showcase this for you guys that you are able to audible from bunch X Nasty to Y-Off trio close and run this boomerang RPO alert swing, and you're able to hot route this play. So that is the give and take between this playbook and the New York Jets playbook. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's showcase this to you guys. Let's start off first in the trips tight end, shall we? Let's call the RPO alert bubble play. And we're gonna go up against a random defense. I'm also gonna move the ball back a few yards as well to about the, 25-yard line or so. So I'm gonna be bringing up the wide receiver hot route menu. Oh wait, I can't because you're not able to hot route at all in this play. So you have to run the bubble screen. Even if you flip it, you cannot hot route at all, unfortunately. So you have to either throw the bubble screen or hand the ball off. And right there you can see we got tackled in the backfield for a loss. We go back to the bunch X Nasty, right? We come out in the motion RPO zone alert, random defense, and now I bring up the wide receiver hot routes by pressing Y, and the menu pops up. Select receiver. We're able to select Devontae, Daryl Hodge, and OBJ. Now this is where we get crazy with it, boys. We are once again able to hot route these players onto any hot route we want. This is my favorite setup to go to when it comes to this play, and it's very, very simple. All you have to do is put your 2 outside wide receivers, so that's X and B, on flat routes. On simple little flat routes, just like that. And I like to streak the point receiver in the bunch. So it looks like this. I know, right? You're thinking, what the hell? What is this? Well, it's really simple, boys. All you're gonna want to do is you're going to read the outside wide receiver all the way on the bunch side of the formation. You're going to read that cornerback really carefully. If that cornerback starts shuffling his feet or backpedals, you throw the RPO flat. The big counter to this is very simple as well. All you have to do is run man coverage. That's the biggest way to counter this. If your opponent runs man coverage, you are not going to be able to throw the flats on either side. That will bag him completely. Keep that in mind. Also keep in mind your opponent's switch stick. If you're playing a very competent opponent who knows how to switch stick and you throw this on them, they are going to get a good beat on it, and they're probably going to switch stick it next time you run it. So be extremely careful if you're playing someone who's good of their switch stick. This is something that you are not going to spam either. This is a great mix in with your offense. It makes Bunch X Nasty even more nastier. So once again, we read that outside cornerback. We also kind of want to read the slot as well, depending on where he is lined up. But right here, we're just reading that outside corner very simply. And if he backpedals or shuffles his feet at all, we throw it. And right there, he backpedals, and we're out for potential big play opportunities. Once again, we streak and we double flat both of our outside receivers. Right there, they ran man coverage, but we were able to gain great outside leverage from the defensive back, and we scored a touchdown on a flat route. Right here, this is probably a man coverage look. You're not going to want to throw the ball on this. Let's take a look, snap the ball here. You see how tight that coverage was compared to the last 2 reps because they were running, the CPU was running man coverage. This is a cover 3 look. Now, if your opponent's showing this look, the streak up the seam is in play for you guys. You're just gonna have to read that linebacker. Obviously, you probably want to make the throw just a little bit sooner. We scored another touchdown right there on this play. Also be wary, if you wait too long on this, the ball is gonna get handed off to your running back, which is also, it's not a bad play either. But if you try to throw the streak, some of your offensive linemen might go downfield, so you might get called for a legal man downfield. Snap the ball here. This one again was man coverage. Once again, we just out leveraged that DB. Once again, if you're playing someone good, they're probably going to switch stick over to that. That's going to be a way tougher read for you. I accidentally lobbed that. Don't do that either. You want to go ahead and make sure you bullet that fucker out there. Right here, we got good leverage to potentially throw the streak. Never mind. I passed that a little bit down. We actually broke a tackle there with our wide receiver. But once again, you can see right there, just depending on the look that your opponent gives with their defense is how you're going to determine to make this read. If they're playing really tight coverage on this, obviously I don't have 2 controllers set up right now, so I can't press my defense. But if they're playing press on this with man coverage, do not throw the ball. Just hand the ball off to your running back right here. Prime example, look at that, beautiful. Bad animation there by our wide receiver, but we still were able to get a good chunk of yards by just simply throwing a little flat route. Once again, this is a great example, beautiful there. DB was shuffling his feet, he was backpedaling there, potentially break their ankles there or put them in the spin cycle and get out. Another great opportunity there. Not the greatest animation by our wide receiver, but I think you guys understand the bit here of how good this actually is. Now, there are some cases where right there, that was actually a cover 2. I believe that was cover 2 hard flats. Hard flats will also bag this as well, so keep that in mind. Hard flats, man coverage, switch stick are the 3 ways to go ahead and easily stop this. This is 100% stoppable. It is not overpowered by any means, but I'm just letting you guys know and showing you guys that, hey, this is definitely a viable option for you to sprinkle in to your offense to make RPOs even better and to actually make them good. Because let's be honest, this RPO out of this play is not that great when you run it stock. Now, granted, some people still do, but by just simply doing this, this makes this RPO a lot more viable. And there you can see, we can seam streak up the middle or throw a flat route for touchdowns out of this play. Now let's quickly go over to the Y-off trio close formation, the boomerang RPO alert swing. It showcased to you guys that we are able to do this trick from here. Once again, we press Y to bring up our receiver icons, which we have the ability to go ahead and put our B receiver, who is Cordero Hodge, on any route that we want. And we're gonna just simply put him on a flat route. Once again, read the outside DB. If he backpedals or shuffles his feet, you can throw this, which right here we do. DB has bad leverage to the outside, able to pick up a good amount of yards. Once again, hard flats, man coverage, switch stick is gonna do a good job of defending this and stopping this. So once again, it is not the most overpowered thing in the world. In some cases, you are able to actually go ahead, and if you're lucky, you're able to go ahead and get the really good rack catch animation. From what I've noticed, this happens a lot more, and right there, that's a hard flat. Do not throw that, just hand the ball off, take the loss of yardage. Do not risk turning the ball over in this scenario. it's off coverage and they're in deep zone, that's what's going to happen to you. That's what's going to happen almost every single time. Like I mentioned, in some cases, when you're able to do this, there are cases where you might be able to get the really good rack catch animation, which you see out of plays like the spacing switch table route, the sneak halfback route. You were able to actually go ahead and get that on some occasions when you actually audible into the formation rather than coming out in the formation. So let's go ahead and let's call the bunch X nasty here once again, and let's actually audible into, and I didn't mean to call, I'm going to call random defense here. Let's go ahead and audible into the Y off trio close boomerang alert screen. Once again, you have to make sure that this play is in your audibles too, which I have it here as my Y audible. We're going to audible to it. Once again, we hot route the B receiver to a flat. We read. That's man coverage. Don't want to throw that. Very tight read, very risky read right there. Do not do it. We're audible into it again. Now with this, you're going to have to wait just a split second, and I'll show why here in an example. And here in a second. Once again, it's rare that you get it, but you can. You can get the really good rack animation. That's what you hope and pray that you get, because if you get that, that is going to give you a better chance. And right here, I hot routed too soon. If you hot route too soon into this play, it is going to hot route him to a blocking assignment, which means you cannot throw anything. You have to run the ball. So I'll hand the ball out, or I'll run the play here. I was not able to throw that at all. You can't, because he audible to a blocking assignment. Now what you got to do for that is, once again, you can just wait a split second and then do it. Or if you mess up and you accidentally hot route too soon, you can just re-audible into the play. And that's what I'm talking about right there, boys. Boom, hammer on the nail, perfectly timed. That is the animation that we are hoping and praying that we can get every single time on this. And once again, this is really only consistent when you audible into the play, is what I have noticed this animation right here, where he catches it in stride, almost gets kind of a boost to the outside. Once again, it's just like spacing switch. It's just like the sneak route out of the bunch X nasty. That is what you're looking for. That is what you, fingers crossed, can get every single time on this hot route, on this flat RPO play. And that is going to give you a really good chance at scoring a touchdown. Now, once again, back again to the little workaround here. So once again, if you come out in bunch X nasty, you audible the wild trio close, and you do this too soon, right? You try to hot route too soon. Now it puts them on a blocking assignment. All you have to do is just recall the play, or audible back into the play, and then you're able to hot route. That's simple. That is the workaround for that RPO there. Now I'm going to showcase one more example for you guys here. We're going to audible from bunch X nasty into the doubles flex Y off close, the RPO zone peak glance, which once again, we have two receivers on a route, which means we can hot route both receivers. So we come out here in bunch X nasty, random defense, and we audible over to the RPO zone peak glance. Once again, make sure the play is in your audibles, and then we can go ahead and hot route both players onto whatever you want. I like the flat route. There you can see defense played tight coverage there, still able to gain yards there on that throw. Once again, just be cautious of the things that we talked about. Hard flats, man coverage that's pressed, and switch sticking can definitely get you in trouble with this. But that is how to make your RPOs even more overpowered than what they are in Madden 26. Once again, if you don't run Jags, go to whatever playbook that you are in, search through some of the RPOs, try to see which ones you can hot route players in and ones that you can't. And once again, this is going to help your offense out in a huge way. Don't spam this. Use this as a mix into your offense. Once again, offense is already super easy as it is. This is just going to give your opponent another thing to have to deal with on defense, and just really give them a problem and really just make them frustrated at the end of the day, because we all know how difficult defense is defending this, that, and third, but now throwing in RPOs once again into the mix. Yeah, you can see where players can get kind of frustrated with this. So that is how you make RPOs even more toxic and overpowered than what they already were. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this. If you guys want to see more of this tip and trick sort of content here on the YouTube channel, please let me know down in the comment section below. Let me know which RPO play out of what playbook are you going to take advantage from this little tip from, let me know down below as well. Until next time, this is Steeler and I am signing out. We'll see you in the next one. Peace. Hey, before you go, did you like what you saw in the video? If you did, consider leaving a thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate it. And if you really like what you saw, consider subscribing to the channel and hit that bell icon to be notified each and every single time a video goes live here on the channel. Here's a couple other videos on my channel that you might like. Thanks for tuning in.